Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Brighter Shores Central, the central information for anything about the upcoming MMORPG Brighter Shores. In this video I've got some interesting information for you about what we could expect out of Brighter Shores when it does release, and the year and 2 years after release as well. We're going to go inside the mind of Andrew Gower, where I've actually done a bit of research into his past and his past comments about what he likes about games, what he wants to see in games, and in particular, if he could do Runescape over again, what would he like the game to be like? So this is a crucial, important video, and we're going to go into the sort of stuff that Andrew Gower said in the past that might actually tell us what he wants in the future, in the sense of his now creation of Brighter Shores and what we can expect to see. So, of course, one of the points here is that he wants a more gradual unlock of the game. So that means that he wants it to be in an episodic way. So he wants to introduce, say, a certain portion of the content to begin with and release it in chunks in an episodic way. That tells me that this game has got potential fantastic longevity. So for example, let's say that it releases one episode including quests and different areas and things to do in the game, and he releases that every 3 to 6 months. Now it's been rumoured, and it's been actually confirmed, should I say, by Andrew Gower in a tweet a couple of months ago, that he wants to release this in an episodic way, and he has 4 episodes, 3 that are completed, 1 that he's working on. So let's just presume and make a guesstimate that these episodes are going to be released every 3 to 6 months. That means that we've got at least 1 to 2 years of content. Okay, so that's a little inside mind of what he's saying, and this is all backed up also by how he's previously talked about the game. So I'm about to roll a clip in a moment about how he talked about what he would do with Runescape if he was to do it all over again. Now, one thing to note is that this game, Brighter Shores, of course, isn't old school Runescape. To stand out in the gaming industry, you need to have a unique selling point. I know something about that as I'm doing my PhD in business and management, so I understand marketing and business and the need to stand out and differentiate yourself in a competitive gaming landscape. So we'll go into that in a moment with some insights, but let's roll a clip that Andrew Gower talked about in how he would like to have Runescape again, how he would do it all over again if he had the chance. Now this clip is from 8 years ago, so bear that in mind. Obviously a lot has happened in 8 years, and there's a lot more technology that is available now than there was 8-10 years ago. So let's look into this. Roll a clip.
Take that. All right, so if you could go back in time to when RuneScape Classic was first being designed and developed, what would you change differently, assuming you knew the success that we've had over the past 15 years?
I think I would slightly like to rearrange the way some of the skills progress. We didn't realise it was going to be a game which people spent so many hours playing, so some of the top ends of the skills are a little bit funny. We'd have probably made it as well so that smithing could be making something relevant to your level as you level up and things like that, which is quite hard to change retrospectively.
Shameless plug, totally going to try and do that in 2016.
Yeah.
So it's only been 15 years in the making, but we'll finally get around to that.
We're finally getting around to that one, but yeah, a lot of the skills were just a bit thrown together, or you sort of expected people to get up to about level 70 and then they'd have burnt out, so we made them so they
just keep going.
They just kept going.
And from my point of view, I mean, a lot of the stuff we already fixed when we did RuneScape 2, and in the subsequent, a huge amount of things that I was able to fix. It was the things that was so deeply ingrained into the game that you couldn't really change them. And the thing that I never sort of nailed, and I think I could do a much better job of it now, was the sort of early game experience. In particular, I sort of always felt it was a bit of a shame that the game sort of tried to teach you tons and tons and tons of concepts in like a 30-minute tutorial, and then it just dropped you in it. And if I was doing it, and it's not something you can sort of retrofit very easily, but if I was doing it from scratch, I'd make the game unlock much more gradually. You'd start off with only a few skills, and then you'd do a quest, and you'd get another skill, and then obviously we did that with the subsequent skills, but I would start you with a lot less stuff, and then make the game sort of expand out over the course of maybe sort of 20, 30 hours. So you got a real nice feeling of progression at the start of the game, and you weren't just dumped in right at the deep end with tons and tons and tons of stuff to do.
You could probably lay out the map a little bit
better. And I'd lay out the map
better.
very differently, and make it, also try and introduce the story earlier, try and get some of these big, long story arcs that are quite key to the game, try and introduce little seeds and hints of those earlier on as well.
It's very difficult to retrofit
But
those
it's
things.
very
It's a
hard
lot
to
hard to
retrofit. But obviously the question is, what would you change if you could go back in
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, so we're not talking about what you can retrofit.
Anything you can retrofit, we did retrofit.
Yeah.
So you heard the clip there. What did he talk about? He talked about the fact that he wants a game, or he wanted, if he could do it again, he wanted it to be more accessible and user-friendly, in the sense that he didn't want you to be dumped into a well with just hundreds and hundreds of things to do and not know where to start. He wanted to do it in a way that's more user-friendly, where there is just a small amount of activities and small amount of skills to begin with, and then release more and more content as they go along with the game. So what that tells to me is, as a speculation point, is with each episode that Andrew Gower is going to release with this game, is each episode going to include new professions? So say, for example, as on the game release, right? Say the game releases, you get the main professions. So there's like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 main professions to begin with that you can train. Maybe there's a high scores associated with that. We all know if there's going to be high scores, this game will probably pop off just on that alone, because there'll be so many people that want that nostalgia of being able to compete for high scores on a game that's just released. And on this channel, we'll be covering the best methods to increase your levels and the different skills and the different information. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. But let's just say he releases 4 skills, yeah, with the game. Or 4 or 5 or 6 professions, should I say, on the first episode. Does that mean in each episode we're going to get not just new content, new quests, but we're going to get some kind of new skill that is introduced to the game with each episode that actually ties into the story of the game? So if they've got questing and stories, does each skill have a meaning behind it, where there is a whole episode about maybe one of the skills, or part of it is about that a particular skill? That is something that I could see him doing. Again, this is speculation, but if it is released in that way, you would think from that mindset where he doesn't want you to be just blasted with so many different skills and so many different things to do, he's probably going to release the game content-wise in smaller bite-sized chunks. Now, what does that mean for this game, Brighter Shores? It means that there could be potential longevity. This game could be just one of those games that does have a decent player base, maybe 10,000, 20,000 player base or something like that, hopefully. But over time, it's going to grow over time because of word of mouth marketing and everything like that as it releases the next episode. And of course, you'll have people that maybe play for 2-3 weeks, and then if they release another big chunk of content with a new episode of the quest, storylines and professions and a new skill to compete in the high scores with, you're going to get people coming back to the game and trying it out again. And eventually, as he does that cycle, this is where I'm thinking where he's going with it, as people keep dipping in and out of the game and start to level their character up as much as possible, they're going to start to have affinity with their character. They care about the levels that they've gained. They care about the time they've spent in the game. Much like with old school RuneScape, you know, the saying is, you never quit, you just take breaks. This is what he's probably trying to do with this game. He's trying to say, we're going to release content gradually, and basically you're going to get hooked to the game, and you're going to be playing it as just as much as RuneScape, or maybe a little bit less as well. And that is because you care about your character and what you're building up in your character and the time sunk into the game. There is a theory, it's like a sunk cost fallacy, the amount of time you've actually spent into a game, and it's sort of like, well, I might as well stay here now because I've spent so many hours in this game. I think a lot of old school RuneScape players feel that, including me. You know, if you spend a long time in a game, you're like, well, I'll just stick with this game. I've stuck with it for so long. And I think that is there. And people would say, well, why would people choose Brighter Shores when they could just play a RuneScape? This is what's important. There needs to be a differentiation point to the game, which I'll talk about more in another video as well. But what he wants is the game to be user-friendly. So when you go into it, then you're going to know exactly what you need to do and how to do it with a user-friendly approach. We also know that the interface is going to be less cluttered. So the user interface is going to be simplified. You're going to know where everything is. There's not going to be stuff going off everywhere and all sorts of flashes and animations everywhere, and you just don't know what's going on. It's actually going to be simplified. And he wants to have I would say, a relaxing type of game, so you can kind of go use, level a skill if you want to. You can go and go defeat a boss. You can have more relaxing gameplay or more challenging gameplay. So it's got that variety to it. So, and we can also see from what's already available, the fact that it is in 4 episodes, that he really does care about that variety and making sure that you've got different things to do in the game, whether it's skills, quests, or like the different episodes that are going to be coming out. So we could tell a lot from what this question was about. You know, what does Andrew Gower expect? What would he do this differently if he did RuneScape again? And this is literally it. He's building it now, and with him being the creator of RuneScape, I think we've probably got to give this game a chance. You know, it may not go well. If so, this channel's probably going to die if the game, like, obviously doesn't do well as well. So I'm kind of taking a gamble making these videos and spending my time doing this. But I've got a lot of faith in the game. I saw the trailer and I thought, you know what, I'm making a channel on this and we're going to give the most updated information about the game, insights, speculation, etc. So if you're interested in that, do hit the subscribe button. But in this video, I just wanted to talk about that and maybe the inner workings of the mind of Andrew Gower and what he would want to see from this game. Now, we need to know what's going to be different from this to RuneScape. And there's also already becoming this tribalistic mentality of, oh, I'm sticking with old school RuneScape, or I'm playing this new game. I think both games have the potential to succeed. I don't think it's this versus them mentality. So we'll see, and I may talk about that in another video as well. But let's see what this game brings in the future. And basically, he's got the right principles, episodic intervals of introducing the game, user-friendly, relaxing, point and click, all the things that we do like about a game, but it's going to be having its own unique twist, and it's the creator of RuneScape making the game. Like, this is a big deal. I think that this game, although it's got a lot of traction online, you know, Twitter, there's lots of posts on it, there's quite a few YouTube videos, I think that this game is really going under the radar. This could be, if it goes well, could be one of the biggest releases in 2024 for a video game. So this is going to be interesting, and I'm ready for the ride for this. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to Brighter Shores Central for any updated information on Brighter Shores. Anything central to the game we will be covering in later videos. Thank you for watching.